Hello and welcome. My name is Donna Cryer, and I am the CEO and founder of the Global Liver Institute. And I am so excited to bring to you this first-of-a-kind cooking series, Fighting Liver Cancer with Food. So as I will be your co-host, I am even more excited as a liver patient and transplant recipient myself. So follow along with us throughout this series, whether you cook along with us or just enjoy. We're so excited to spend this time with you. We also want to thank our friends and partners at ASI for sponsoring this series of programming. Hi, I'm Donna Cryer, and on this segment of Fighting Liver Cancer with Food, we are going to be eating for comfort. Isn't that right, Chef?
It's actually correct. And I'm excited to talk to you all about an amazing dish that I've created for you all today, which is an amazing soup. And so today, we have just so many amazing food items that you can actually see here on the table that I'm so excited to share with you all today. So today we're actually eating for comfort. Now, most people, I believe, when, especially when my dad had on his journey, they get tired, they get unmotivated, they don't feel like being bothered. And so sometimes, not just for the patient, but for the caregiver, for the family, you just need something that's comforting, something that makes you feel like home, things that just kind of make you want to curl up and just eat something. And so that's what I have today. So we're gonna make an amazing, healthy, immune boosting soup today.
I think nothing is more comforting than soup. And going through cancer treatment, any treatment, back and forth to the hospital, all the edges seem so hard, all the imaging, everything about going through cancer is hard.
It's a nightmare.
And you need comfort.
It's a nightmare. You go in, you gotta check in, you gotta, and nowadays, even amongst COVID, before you could actually take your whole family with you and you had some form of comfort, but now you're by yourself because, because the mask mandates. And so I'm just so glad that we're able to have something. So don't you worry. I'm here today and I'm going to easily share an amazing recipe with each and every last one of you so that you can get some comfort in your system, some comfort in your life, some comfort in your family, and some comfort in knowing that you're going to have something fantastically delicious. And yes, I made that word up, fantastically delicious for you today. As a chef, we can do that. We can make up food adjectives that describe how amazing our food is. So
I believed it.
There you go.
I
did. So today, I'm going to get my pan very hot. And so you have to understand that I actually want it almost smoking, and so even though right now I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil, and that's more for flavor. Now, most of the time when you're cooking, you shouldn't use extra virgin olive oil for cooking. You should actually use that more for salads, for basting, for breads. Right. But in this situation, it's great to utilize it if you know what you're doing with it. And so if I'm going to quickly add ingredients to the pan, then it's okay.
Right.
And also a medium heat. So I'm not going to try to cook on such a high heat for this application. Okay. But just so you know, as a quick tip, culinary tip, do not cook with extra virgin olive oil if you're going to do high heat, because the whole house will be smoking. So
you can cook with olive oil, but like save the really good stuff for drizzling and bread and things like that. One of our team members at the Global Liver Institute is from Lebanon, and her family produces this fantastic, pristine olive oil. So you wouldn't want to use that like very special extra virgin olive oil for this. But olive oil is good for you, and it's good to have. And
it's good to have in the house, but try to keep it away from cooking. Use it for your salad dressings, and I like to make my salad dressing at home. So, matter of fact, I'll give you just a quick hint. So, a quick salad dressing, just the recipe. As we're getting this hot, I'll give you one quick salad dressing as we're waiting for this to get hot. You need 3 parts to make your own salad dressing at home. So that's where you can save money. It'd be low fat, and also it tastes delicious. So, to make a balsamic vinaigrette, because that's one of the most nationwide and global delicious vinaigrettes, there's 3 ingredients. You need your fat, which is your oil. Okay. Your extra, we were talking about your olive oil.
That's when you use your extra virgin olive oil. That's where you use it.
Okay. Your olive oil, that's your extra virgin olive oil. You need your acid, which is your vinegar. Okay. And you can also utilize an orange or a lemon or a lime. So whatever fruits that you have that's somewhat acidic. And also your emulsifier, because my grandparents used to always say, oil and water, they just don't mix together with those boys. So in this situation, now I can show you how. So a little bit of mustard. So just a squeeze, a pinch of mustard, you whisk it together, and so your acid is going to be your balsamic vinegar.
And your friends will think you're very fancy. That was like very simple.
Oh, we're fancy. It is so simple.
Very simple.
Add a little honey, add a little bit of shallot, add a little bit of garlic, but it's in some herbs and spices, but it's okay. So that's what you need. So 3 items, just so you know: acid, which is your vinegar, oil, which is your fat, and also a emulsifier to bind it all together, which is your mustard.
That's a good Scrabble word. I'm gonna write that down.
There you go.
I'm gonna keep that as my Scrabble word. Starts with an E.
I'm going to cook it in this pan here, but I also have a crock pot that I also utilize it. So the reason why it's comforting with a crock pot is because when you put it in at nighttime and you don't feel like getting up being bothered, it's actually going to get you up. It's going to wake you up. It's going to give you that energy that you need to say, you know what? And now people don't have to cook. They don't have to wake up and take care of you. You can take care of yourself. As you can go in and get a scoop of your own soup and not only eat it just for breakfast, because it is literally breaking fast. Most people think that breakfast is just to have breakfast food. Breakfast just means what food you're going to eat to break your fast, and so you can have that soup.
You can do that with soup.
Here.
I also wanted to stop. You said something really, really important. Many important things.
I'm gonna chop an onion while you're chopping.
Yeah. So your mother had the benefit of you and your wonderful mother and your family
and my brother
and your brother and so many patients though don't have anyone. They don't have a built-in family or support network and try to navigate cancer treatment, alone. And it's certainly one of the things that we try to provide more support for at the Global Liver Institute. But also, I've been part of a friends network of support for friends who are going through surgeries or serious diseases. And so I think it's underestimated the network and resources and the ways that your friends will pitch in and be your family in that circumstance to drive you to the hospital or sit at your bedside, because nobody should go through this alone. So the fact that this is comforting for you and any friends or family who might be helping you and is easy so they can focus on you and not the cooking, that's a comfort in and of itself.
And food is comforting. So if you do get the energy where you want to cook, even though this is an energy boosting soup that we have, but it's more made for comfort, you can do it yourself, because this is one of the, even though I'm going to show you step by step as we talk about it today, it's actually fantastic because during this process, it's one of those things where you could actually just toss everything in the pan and then roll out. You don't have to be bothered with it. You can just set it and forget it. I heard that on TV one day, and it stuck with me. I think it's a fantastic situation. So,
and it rhymes.
And it rhymes. And so I added just a little bit of oil to the pan here. And so now, because I've done that, I'm going to add some of my onions here. And you always start with onions. You always.
Yes.
Now, unless you have
FODMAP. So some of us with digestive diseases, this is something that we've talked about. Because like many patients with liver cancer, I come from a history of IBD and other digestive diseases, and so some of us are what's called on a low FODMAP diet. Don't ask me what all the letters stand for, but often it means that things like onions and garlic sometimes don't work for you. And that was the hardest information for me to ever hear, because they're like my favorite flavors in the world. So there are olive oils that are infused with onions and garlic so that you can still have those flavors even if you're on a low FODMAP diet. But if you're not, use the onions, use the garlic, get all the flavor.
And that is correct. And so we actually are using both onions and garlic. Yeah. Now the garlic I actually do last, because most chefs, which they say it, I don't know why they say it, they always say, put the garlic and your onion first. And that's also even in my training. But for me, I find that the garlic burns so quickly, so I add it in last because it's more of an aromatic. So unless your heat is on kind of medium, then that's something that you can do. So I might be able to add garlic to this, but I actually want to get this translucent a bit so that it can bring it out a little bit more. Because the moment I add the garlic in, I'm almost kind of shooting myself in the foot where I can't use it anymore, where it's going to start to burn, and then I kind of rush through the process. So, but we're going to chop up just a couple pieces.
I'm excited. I wish we had like smell-o-vision, because this is like fantastic.
Working on it right now. Working on smell-o-vision myself.
Because this is fantastic. And so I'm very excited. When I was, at one point, very sick with my disease, I was only 85 pounds. Clearly, we've gotten over that, past that point. But there would be, if my mother thought that there was something that she could do to make me interested in eating, she would do it. This makes me interested in eating. So if you have that patient, if you have that loved one who's like, nothing tastes good, I don't really want to eat, I don't have an appetite, I can vouch this will give you an appetite.
This will, and it smells like what she was talking about, smell-o-vision. I am creating smell-o-vision soon, coming to homes near you. But I'm also creating smell-o-vision. So, so just so you know, the reason why I'm creating that is because it smells so fantastic because of the aromatics, and I like to season as I go. So we're gonna add just a little bit of pepper here, and I'll actually let you add a pinch of the salt.
Okay.
So you can know.
And I wash my hands and everything like that to be allowed in the chef's kitchen.
Perfect. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's good. And so we're gonna just give this a quick. And it smells so good, and and as you can see, I'm starting to get. As you can see, I'm starting to get some fantastic color already on the onion, which is just great. It's just delicious. So that's the color that you want to see. No darker than that. You want to kind of give it like that golden brown, a little, not too much darker than that of color. But you see that my garlic is starting to turn certain colors. So I'm going to, and so there's one other thing I want to talk about as we're talking about this is uniformity in your vegetable chopping. Now, obviously, this is just my OCD, but it also has to do with cooking as well.
He's a professional.
So for some people who do not want to be bothered with it, you can do a rough chop. It doesn't matter. But if you want to cook it, evenly, you got to make sure that you cut the onions evenly, because there are going to be some onions that are going to be larger than others, and so the smaller ones are going to burn faster than the larger ones. So make sure as you're thinking about it, you do it so that you cook them evenly.
The other E is experience. So if you cook these, evenly, the experience of eating it will be easier.
There it is.
Will be easier. That's another E. And better.
And
so
it will be exciting.
It will be exciting.
I had to add, because
that's excellent. That's excellent. You know what else I find comforting? Your sense of humor.
And I appreciate that.
I think bringing laughter is the best medicine.
So now that we have that, I'm going to add in this chicken. Now, mind you, my chicken has already been cooked.
The chicken has already been cooked.
Yes.
I'm just going to emphasize that.
The chicken's already cooked. Head there. Does that still smell pretty good?
It smells great.
And so, just so you all know, I utilize chicken breast. And the reason why I use chicken breast is because chicken breast is fat-free most of the time. Or not fat-free 100%, but it's usually 99% fat-free. And you want to make sure if you're cooking for comfort that you're also making that very, very healthy. So just make sure that when you're using chicken, don't use the thigh meat that much.
Unless you have anemia, because the dark meat has more iron. And so particularly if you're already underweight and are not worried about trying to gain weight and need the extra iron, you might want to substitute thigh meat in that circumstance.
Or just make sure that you eat it, which she's very, very correct. But you also just eat it in moderation. So if you find out it has too much iron and other foods that you're eating, just make sure you cut back and have things in moderation. So we're talking about evenly. I need to spread that bad boy out.
Spread that out. Use the whole pan.
I need you to spread that out.
Okay. I did not train at the CIA like you did.
And that is the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. I just want to give a shout out. And I think that A-side, you guys should call it A-side. Like you should be your own kind of medical fraternity. A-side.
We're going to have a cancer fraternity. I think we do. It's called our Liver Cancer Council. The Global Liver Institute's Liver Cancer Council is sort of like the fraternity and sorority for liver cancer patients, industry partners, doctors, everybody.
So now we have our cabbage. So the reason why I utilize this green cabbage is because one, it's fantastic. And so point number 2 I just want to add is that when you're looking at cabbage, it's not great for you all the time. And why do you not like cabbage that much?
As I said, I love it. Sometimes it doesn't love me though. I actually had as many patients who have had liver cancer, might have had multiple cancers. I was on the verge of colon cancer and had my colon removed. And so foods with a lot of fiber are challenging to me, shall I say. And so, but I love to have them in soups because it breaks it down, it makes it digestible, and that's the way that I can get fiber and these other nutrients. And so I think that's one of the most important tips as an experienced patient, to be able to use soups and things like that, not only for comfort, but to be able to get added nutrients in a digestible form.
And that's fantastic. So I also have, with this cabbage and everything that we're making, so to help her with that, so that she does not have to make sure she does that, I want to make sure that even as we're adding the cabbage, that's where the crock pot comes in, because it helps break it down. It breaks down all that, the fibers.
I can eat anything that comes out of a crock pot.
So yeah, it breaks it down, it's loose, and so that's kind of what I like. So today, I'm going to also add a little bit of turmeric here, which is fantastic for not just liver health, but also brain health. So you remember to take your medicine. Hello.
Also, you know, we have people watching this from around the world.
Yes.
And turmeric and other fabulous spices are really core components of their diet, and so we wanted to reflect that in this recipe. So
it's fantastic. And so so instead of me just doing orzo, I also wanted to add in some barley, some wild rice, some couscous, and some bulgur wheat, just to get some of those whole grains in there. So we're going to just toss this in there and give that a stir around.
Okay, I've been entrusted to stir again. You know, this is what makes it an entire meal. So you don't have to, you know, pair it with other things. Everything that you could possibly need is going to be in this soup, and it's going to just be in the crock pot or sitting on the stove. People can come back to it, you know, sip on it a little bit, eat a little bit, you know, as your appetite allows, and there's a nutrition thing for the whole family.
And so now I'm going to add a little bit of fresh thyme. And you can add dry thyme if you have it at home. Dry herbs are just as good as fresh herbs, so you have that. But I also want to add just a hint of pepper flakes, and that's just to get that blood flowing, so that it's good circulation. So especially those with diabetes, because a lot of times you find that with patients with cancer, the reason why they can't take certain medicines, the reason why they can't do certain exercises because of obesity and just the things. So I just want to make sure if you have diabetes, you just want to make sure that you're following strict guidelines. But it's also good because if you stub your toe, if you hit something, and that's one thing, because you're weak, and that's why we're eating for comfort. If you're weak and you're tired, you stub your toe, you hit something, sometimes you don't get it checked on, so make sure you check your feet and your toes and everything else to make sure that you're taken care of, because it stops blood flow. You can get blood clots, and that's what causes cardiovascular problems like heart attacks. So I just want to make sure that as you're doing the red pepper flakes, not too hot, it doesn't have to be hot, but you just want something to help with that blood flow. So
also, a lot of cancer patients have a lot of pain. And so it's an interesting fact in the literature that the capsaicin, which is what sort of makes the pepper flakes hot, you know, helps to relieve the perception of pain. So that's an extra.
And I thought I would, and so the best part, no, you're 100% right. Now, the best part is that earlier in our other segment,
watch all the segments.
Earlier,
eating for energy, eating for comfort, this one, eating for strength.
Correct. Correct. So in our other segment, I actually put a little bit of our spinach inside of the smoothie. The best part is that I want to save you money. So the best part in this is that you can actually take some of the spinach, save it, and actually toss it in here. And it's going to break it down even more. So we're going to take some of that spinach, and then we're going to toss in this orzo at the same time. Now I've cooked my orzo ahead of time. You can get pre-cooked orzo. I like to just rinse mine off pretty well.
I have to admit that the first time I had orzo, it was like mistakenly put into my grocery cart. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? But it is a fantastic pasta. It looks like a rice, but it's pasta. And, you know, it has such a wonderful, like, mouth feel. And, you know, as we're eating for comfort here, that, like, way it feels in your mouth is, like, so important to entice you.
And so now, as we're doing this, I'm going to just add on this. No, you can stand right here. Okay. I'm just going to just add a little bit of this chicken broth. You can use a vegetable broth. You can use a chicken broth. You can use a vegetable broth. You can use a mushroom broth. So you just want to just make sure that whatever broth that you're using, that it's good for you. So.
Now, I would have splashed that all over myself if I had attempted it. This is why we work with professionals.
Do try this at home. We want you to try this at home.
I might ladle. If I were doing this at home, I would have ladled it, because that's all I can handle.
Well, no,
is like by the ladle. But you're a big, strong professional. It's CIA training, and
this is what we do.
You could pour it all in.
And so now, the best part about this soup is done. Once it heats up, you can actually eat it now. With this soup, you can actually eat it now already the way it is. But if you want to break it down, you don't feel like being bothered, you can put it into your crock pot and have it the next day in the morning when you wake up, or even at night. Start in the morning and eat it at nighttime.
Right.
So
take your nap, because every time you go to the doctor's office or the hospital, you need a nap. And then when you wake up from your nap, you're going to want something to eat. And so it'll be ready.
This is fantastic.
I'm a fan of naps are important. If I impart no other experienced patient tip, a nap, take a nap. It'll all sound better after you take a nap.
I love naps.
Naps are important.
Well, we're not going to take a nap, but we're going to take a quick short break.
Okay.
And as this is cooking, we're going to come back and we're going to then pour it into the bowl and we're going to add the garnish and show you how to place it so that it gives you comfort even as you're eating it, because comfort has to do with plating. So when we come back, we'll show you what it tastes like and how it's plated. And we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're so excited that you are able to join us again. Today, this segment, we were talking about eating for comfort. And so we made an amazing soup that had spinach, that had orzo, that had chicken, that had a nice broth that's just smelling and permeating the room with garlic and onion and turmeric and red pepper flakes to get that blood pressure going. That's also fantastic for liver health and also great for immune boosting capabilities.
I think all of that is very comforting to me. To know that all of that is in this soup and that as soon as we get it in the bowls, that it could get into me.
There we go.
That's comforting.
So there we go. So we're getting ready to plate. So glad you're back. So here we go.
And I heard a wise person once said that you eat with your eyes. And so this is a beautiful soup with all the green spinach and the colors and the orange from the turmeric, and it looks gorgeous.
You see that?
I'm so excited to do these to help patients and patient families, but it's certainly more than a perk that I actually get to taste these recipes.
Yes,
for
right
myself.
here, yes. So it smells just as good as it looks. I just want to let you guys know it.
You know, these are recipes that, you know, even long after you've gone through cancer treatment, you're still on a cancer journey, you're still on a survivorship journey, or your family still needs comfort. And so these are recipes that you can, you know, use and continue to use long after a particular episode. So that's why I'm so excited to know about this.
Yeah. And so just so I can let you guys know, I have something here. I have some amazing cilantro.
It's like a magic wand.
It's like, wow. But you're wondering why I have the paper towel. To preserve your cilantro or herbs or any other items that you have in your refrigerator, the best thing to do is have a designated area for your herbs, especially your fresh ones. Make sure that you dampen your cloth just a little bit with a little bit of cold water, and then you wrap them up as such, and then wrap them up very tightly, and that will preserve them and keep them for more days than usual in terms of the expiration date they have them. So with this, we're going to do a garnish because everybody does not like cilantro. So I'm not going to put it in the soup. So we're going to just give it a nice little garnish here.
Now, some people say it tastes soapy. I don't feel that way. I'm a big cilantro fan, and so I'm excited to have it. But, you know, the tip was such a wonderful one because you don't want to buy all these fabulous ingredients and then have them spoil in your refrigerator. So this is a great way to extend the life of your herbs, and so you can use more of them.
Yeah, and for me, cilantro is one of those herbs that I can't say that I do a whole lot of cilantro dry, and that's actually one of the only ones that I have to have fresh if I'm going to use cilantro in my dishes. If you want to use them, you can, but for me, cilantro has to be fresh. Okay. So let's go ahead and get our bowls ready.
Okay. I like the plates. You know, I'm sure all of our friends in France would love the fact that this says a la carte.
There you go.
Et place de jour. The head of our European office, I'm sure, who speaks multiple languages, as do many of our GLI staff.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
I call it bon appetit instead of bon appetit.
No, Thank you so much for joining us for this series of Fighting Liver Cancer with Food. We hope that the guidance that we provided across this series and in each episode will help you and your family meet your nutritional needs across your journey with liver cancer. Please ask your health team if they have nutritionists, palliative care specialists, or other supports to personalize this information for you. At the Global Liver Institute, we really hope that this information has been helpful and that you'll let us know how we can support you in every other way throughout your cancer journey. I also want to thank our friends and partners at ASI for their sponsorship of this series.